25 drivers, 16 nationalities, 3 champions, 1 world champion. Road to Indy TV.
It's time to get things going here for USF 2000. On behalf of Cooper Tires, drivers, start your engines!
Rob, thank you very much. Again, Braden Eves, your winner yesterday. He won from pole. Darren Keene had the most adventurous drive yesterday. We had 5 cars, not all collide, but 5 cars that could not make it cleanly into turn number 1. Couple of cars would spin. Darren Keene would get caught up in that. He had to work his way all the way from the back of the field to the front. He did have the fastest lap, but all of the other notables, if you will, from yesterday, pole position, most laps led, and race winner went to Braden Eves. He has won all 3 events so far in the USF 2000 series. The only 2 other races before these drivers got to Indianapolis this week came back in the opening weekend of the NTT IndyCar season at St. Petersburg. These drivers are done for the weekend as of this race, which will go for either 20 laps or for 40 minutes. They will race over at Lucas Oil Raceway coming up the weekend of the Indy 500. Then they'll be running at Road America, Toronto, Mid-Ohio, Portland, and Laguna Seca throughout the course of this season. 21 car and drivers out on the track for this race. We'll give them a lap or so to get up to speed before we drop the green flag on this field. And as Rob mentioned, there are 2 drivers with ties to the area. Jack William Miller, Carmel Westfield area. And, of course, Zach Holden from Greenfield. And he's got an outstanding starting position for this race. He will be on the outside of row number 3. Mr. Howd, you caught your breath yet?
I'm back. Yeah, I had to run back from the grid. 2 pace laps before we go green, give them the opportunity for these drivers to get a little more heat into the tires. I think that's a good call from the officials. Normally we go green first time by. Good-looking field of drivers set to go. Anywhere from 14 to 22 years of age. A couple of 14-year-olds in the field, Nolan Siegel and Reese Gold. Braden Eves and Darren Keene up front. All Cape Motorsports front row. Big win for Braden Eves yesterday, his 3rd straight. He has won all 3 races so far this year. Darren Keene just does not seem to get the luck. Lots of speed out of the driver from Boca Raton, Florida, but collected in an incident yesterday. Jack Crawford getting a little too aggressive going into the corner. A couple of drivers involved in that incident in turn number 1. Keene, though, was able to put on a show. Kept it going, able to get the rolling back through, and drove his way back up through the field. Impressive run for him to kind of stop the bleeding, but could have been a very tough hit in the championship battle.
Well, good morning to Rob Howd and Michael Young filling in for Greg Rakestraw. Greg had very important duties here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, working our 2nd parade lap going green this time by. Rob, a very busy man, and as you had just kind of recapped yesterday's event, need to remind fans for these young drivers, not only just a thrill to be here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but for them to be able to do what they do and try to keep from having those mistakes. Been very impressive thus far this year to see some of these young drivers for the very first time, of course, in St. Petersburg, and yesterday with a few of the incidents, but pretty clean racing all in all.
Indeed, and for the young drivers that come into this program, that's one of the things we normally see. We will see drivers get a little too overzealous, maybe push a little too hard, not showing the patience that you'll see out of drivers in the Indy Pro category or Indy Lights, more seasoned drivers here on this road to Indy. But you're right, St. Petersburg wasn't too bad. We had a couple of incidents, but our starts were pretty solid. Same here. We had a couple of incidents here, but otherwise, through the race, we saw some great driving and some aggressive driving later. We had a couple of incidents, but all in all, the drivers who are able to keep their heads are the ones that get the really good results.
Braden Eves leading the field behind the pace car, working his way now through turns number 8 and 9 as they make their way around the museum. They will start the formation as they get ready for round number 4, race number 2 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A beautiful sight, seeing those cars make their way through turn number 10. That right-hander around the museum, and again, the rows of 2 starting to form as they make their way down that front straightaway. We'll turn them loose this time by. Hopefully have a clean start as they make their way down into turn number 1. We welcome each and every one of you to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's race day, the IndyCar Grand Prix, and race number 2 for this Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. And there you see the front row, the Cape Motorsports drivers, as they make their way through the final turn and set to make their way down the front straightaway, the Yard of Bricks, race number 2, round number 4, about to begin. And here for the call, the voice of this Road to Indy program, Rob Howden. Welcome him to the front straightaway here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Braden Eves on the inside, Darren Keene on the outside. 2 drivers looking to try to get a race win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Eves will set the pace as they come up. Really good-looking field right now. And we've got it. Green, 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 underway. Racing down here into turn number 1. One driver already coming off the 27 of Zach Holden into pit lane. Trouble for Holden. He goes to pit lane. Otherwise, they'll span out 3, 4, 5 wide coming down to turn number 1. This is where we all hold our collective breaths to see if they can get through. A little bit of brake smoke. Good thus far through turn number 1. One driver further back, and an issue, as we said, with Zach Holden. I'm not sure why he came down into pit lane. Drivers through now turn 1, 2. Coming through that switchback. Turns 5 and 6 on the power as they work their way down Holman Boulevard for the very first time. The Cape Motorsports drivers run first and second. Hunter McElroy slotting into that 3rd spot. He's got the Mazda Soul Red, won the $200,000 scholarship shootout last November to get into this USF 2000 program. But the Cape Motorsports drivers, unlike yesterday, both able to get cleanly through turn number 1 and 2. And that's the way they run. I believe Eves is your leader. Keene goes into second.
Darren Keene swung to the outside as he went down into turn number 1. I thought he was going to maybe dive underneath Braden Eves, unable to do so, but that was a great start, as you had said, for Braden Eves. Already about a 3-car length gap between he and his teammate as they make their way through turn number 13. And now that left-hander, turn number 14, coming down the front straightaway for the first time. Braden Eves leads the field back to the Yard of Bricks.
We'll watch the gap right now. Darren Keene in the number 2. Has got the 22 of Hunter McElroy right there with him. Great racing further back. Those are the drivers in the Legacy Autosports cars. Alex Barron runs in 7th, Dakota Dickerson in 9th. He's got Colin Kaminsky right there in 8th and Jack Miller in 10th. Really close racing coming down into turn number 1 here, side by side as they work their way into the opening corner of this 14-turn racetrack here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Drivers absolutely love this racetrack. Glass smooth, and a lot of opportunity to overtake, but it's all about rolling corner speed. You have to be able to roll speed through some of these these quicker corners, and that's what's going to separate the drivers who are at the front to the back, as the drivers are really able to lay that power down and through some of the quicker parts of this racetrack.
Something we like to see, too, this single file at the early stage of this race. A couple of jockeyings for position further back in the field as we have some great battles for that 5th, 6th, and 7th position. You talked about Crawford Shields and Alex Barron battling in the back there as we see the shot around the museum. Braden Eves with about an 8-car length advantage over Darren Keene. Hunter McElroy, Suleiman, and Crawford, your top 5 as we get set to complete lap number 2. There's Braden Eves, his teammate right behind him, Darren Keene. As they come down out through turn number 14 now, we'll mark them as they come across the line, completing lap number 2. Braden Eves, then Darren Keene. Nice battle there as the 22 of Hunter McElroy starting to close in on Darren Keene, about 2 car lengths back for that battle for second position.
Tell you who's having a fantastic run now. That's Dakota Dickerson in the number 77. The Legacy Autosport guys obviously went to work last night pouring over the data. They came up with a plan here for today, and Alex Barron, who started 12th, he's already up to 6th spot. Dakota Dickerson started 14th. He's now worked his way up to 7th. Those 2 Legacy Autosport cars are impressive here early on in what will be a 20-lap race here for the drivers in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. Coming through the switchback onto Holman Boulevard. You can see the packs that we have racing here today. Tremendous competition in this category all the way through the field. We're seeing great racing.
Keeping an eye on that battle for second there is Darren Keene able to gap himself a little bit from Hunter McElray, but Hunter had a great run down Holman Boulevard, able to close that gap. There you see it. That's that battle for second, about a 3-car length disadvantage for Hunter McElray as he's trying to get that second position away from Darren Keene. And the key, Rob, is we always talk about getting that momentum out of these final turns, that big sweeping turn number 14. If you can get a good run, that's the key to get the run and potential pass down into turn number 1.
The two key parts of this racetrack to be able to make overtakes, 13 and 14, as you said, coming onto the straightaway, and then being able to get through that switchback, turn 5 and 6. That leads you onto the straightaway on Holman Boulevard. Last lap before, an issue, not so much an issue, but Manuel Suleiman dropped down from, I believe, third, or he was fourth, I think, on the track, dropped all the way down to 8th. Jack Crawford able to get by to 4th. Cameron Shields in 5th. Barrett and Dickerson 6th and 7th for Legacy. Suleiman back to 8th. Jack Miller still running in 9th, and Colin Kaminsky in 10th. What a great run for young Jack Miller right now as well. He is really impressing me here this weekend in that Miller Vinatieri Motorsports number 40. Top 10 run for Jack. Really solid here at Indianapolis.
Well, you mentioned Manuel Suleiman as he's falling through the field. He was 4th and now falling further back in the field, almost as if he either hit a curb or knocked something off of that car, but certainly something not right with that number 12 machine as he's now dropped down to about the 16th position.
We'll watch for him come back around here. We will update on Zach Holden. He came into pit lane, obviously some kind of a mechanical issue, not able to get back out onto the racetrack. So Zach, who got in trouble in the start of the opening race and fought his way back up into the top 10, doesn't even get one lap in here today. Tough one for Zach Holden. Again, we'll watch these drivers as they work around here.
Have a spin in turn number 7, 2 cars.
That's Jack Miller.
Yes, it is.
That's Jack Miller potentially has gone around. That's the number we're seeing, at least on our screens here. Jack Miller potentially spinning in 7, and then Matt Round Garrido potentially involved as well. Watching these drivers come through. We'll try to pick up Manuel Suleiman.
Boy, Hunter McElroy's got a heck of a run on Darren Keene down into turn number 1. Not going to be able to make a pass, but Rob, I think that second position may be up for grabs here in the next lap or so. Hunter McElroy is on the charge, completing 4 laps of this 20-lap event here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And Michael, you were correct. Suleiman all the way down to the tail of the field now in the 18th spot, being told Jack Miller's been able to continue. Matt Round Garrido in the number 5 did not. That was the incident over in turn number 7, so Matt Round Garrido still there. We'll try to pick that up when they work their way through turn number 7 here on the video. But again, big lead here for Braden Eves as he tries to win his 4th straight main event here in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. As they run now, he would leave Indianapolis with a massive lead, 33 points. That's more than a single race. Matt Round Garrido just picking that car up just on the outside, we believe. Outside of turn number 7. Eves, 1.9 seconds, and full course yellow. So I was just wondering whether or not they were going to leave Matt Round Garrido's Tatis out there, but indeed, full course yellow being brought out. He's just on the outside of turn number 7. Officials deeming that car in a dangerous position. So, indeed, they will go full course yellow, stack it up. So that 1.9-second lead that Braden Eves just had is long gone. And this is going to give Alex Barrett and Dakota Dickerson another chance to go after both Cameron Shields and Jack Crawford.
Well, we were waiting to see if the caution would indeed come out. We did not have a visual on Matt Round Garrido's machine. I don't know if he was trying to get rolling and they were going to wait. Obviously, as you said, Rob, he was in a precarious position. So officials watching that car, but he's unable to get rolling. So that is the reason for our first caution, full course caution here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The running order, top 5, Braden Eves, Darren Keene, Hunter McElroy, Crawford, and Shields rounding out your top 5. Barron, Dickerson, Kaminsky, Barrichello, and Rasmussen round out your top 10.
Michael, they were able to get Matt Round Garrido pushed out there. I think he was probably just stuck because it's been pretty wet, as you know, and he is now rolling again, the number 5 of Matt Round Garrido from England back onto the racetrack in the 5.
I think hence why it took so long for the caution to come out. He was probably spinning out there. Obviously, as we had said, we don't have a visual on that car, so it took a moment. They were hoping he could get rolling, but this will make things interesting again, not only for Braden Eves, who had that great lead, but now Darren Keene has seen his mirrors full of Hunter McElroy, and we will be going green this time by. So we'll see if Braden Eves can get a good start. Teammate Darren Keene started on the outside of row number 1, but the driver that was stalking the second position, Darren Keene, Hunter McElree, will he have a good restart? The field now works their way through the museum portion of the course, turn number 11, then through turn number 12. And we always keep our eyes on these restarts because these young drivers thinking, well, I can get not 1, not 2, maybe 3 positions, Rob, and this is where we keep our fingers crossed that everybody minds their provisional or proverbial P's and Q's, if you will.
Well, a tough opportunity here now for Eves because if there's an opportunity to pass, it's on a restart. If you're behind, you're a sitting duck coming all the way down the straightaway here with the tow these drivers will get. We did get a chance to quickly see the replay of the incidents over in turn number 7, and they were both separate incidents, both drivers going off by themselves. Field set, though. We're back at it. Green flag fly. It's the restart. Here comes Darren Keene. Keene looking to make a move on Braden Eves for the lead. He got a good restart tucked up underneath the rear wing. They'll work their way down here into turn number 1. Drivers through cleanly at this point. I don't know if we were able to get a pass there. Didn't get to the camera quick enough. The Cape Motorsports drivers still first and second as everybody able to navigate their way through the opening couple of corners. It looks to me like Braden Eves still the leader in the number 8 machine. So Keene not able to attack and get by to take over the point. So Keene slots back into second. McElray goes to P3. Crawford still in 4th. I think Alex Barron potentially able to get by Cameron Shields for 5th. So Barron now goes to P5. Former winner here on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. And he pushing hard to get himself back up onto the podium after a difficult day yesterday. Side-by-side racing further back. That's Christian Rasmussen and Eduardo Barrichello, the number 41. One of those Miller Vinatieri Motorsport entries. They're still going side-by-side coming through turn number 12, or 11 rather. Michael, good hardcore racing for 9th.
Indeed there is. Braden Eves now able to gap himself as we see a potential spin for the 52 of Jack Crawford, who was running 4th at the time. He was by himself behind Hunter McElray, but potential the 52 now off in turn number 7. But Braden Eves, Darren Keene, that battle still between Keene and Hunter McElray. That is the battle for second position down into turn number 1. Great restart for Braden Eves, Rob.
No doubt about that, able to hold off his teammate Darren Keene. And as I said, you're a sitting duck essentially on a restart because they're right in behind you. They get that tow. Just no one able to make the pass, and Keene holding on to the position. Jack Miller was able to continue, did not lose a lap. He's gone by Manuel Suleiman, so put Jack Miller back up to 15th, so we'll see what he's able to do. But otherwise, you've got to give props to the guys from Legacy Autosport, Mike Meyer and his crew. Whatever they did last night in terms of getting those cars dialed in has been successful. They have been like a rocket coming out of the gate here. Manuel Cabrera in the exclusive Autosport number 90 coming down pit lane, so trouble for Cabrera. He'll head to pit lane here. But again, Barron now running in the 4th spot. And I believe Dickerson now in 7th. We're going to have a look again to see.
Well, we talked about Jack Crawford. I think it was a transponder issue. They had him in turn number 7, but as we see it right now, he's currently running in that 4th position. So a potential transponder issue for the number 52, but Jack Crawford still in that 4th position. Braden Eves, he has the lead. That battle again for second as we see Darren Keene and Hunter McElree, Jack Crawford in 4th, and Alex Barron in 5th.
Indeed, Crawford. We pick up the visual as he comes around. We got a great battle here right now, though, for that 5th position. Shields trying to get back around Crawford as they come, or rather around
Barron.
The Legacy Autosport driver. Yeah, Alex Barron. Shields on the outside. He's got him on the outside. He gets through. Book it. Great pass there. Cameron Shields back by. Dakota Dickerson, the teammate of Barron, right there trying to capitalize as well. So they, again, now run in 6th and 7th. Some really aggressive racing just outside the top 5.
You talked about it. He set Barron up all the way down that long front straightaway. Shields able to get around in turn number 1, what we call a textbook pass. A great job by Shields getting around Barron for the 5th position.
They're not done yet either, Michael. They were racing hard out of the switchback, too. I think that they went 2x2 again back into turn number 7. Look at this fight. Barron's back through. And, in fact, I think Dickerson gets by as well. So both Barron and Dickerson move Shields down to 7th. But he's in the middle of a really good battle with those 2 Legacy Autosport drivers. But now Barron finally by, off and running to see if he can't reel in Jack Crawford.
A lot of great racing action. Working lap number 9 of this 20-lap event. 8 complete. And Braden Eves has had it his way thus far. A 1.2 second advantage last time by. This time by, that gap is a little bit wider, 1.4 seconds. Hunter McElroy starts to look to the inside of Darren Keene as they make their way down into turn number 1. The battle for second continues. Darren Keene thinks better of it, keeps himself in front of Hunter McElroy. But Hunter McElroy, Rob, I think at some point is really going to set Darren Keene up and get around for that second position, or at least try.
He's showing great patience right now. I've been told we had a blocking warning for Nolan Siegel. He is in the middle of a good battle here with Christian Bogle. Again, coming around to the halfway point. But I like the patience that Hunter McElroy is showing right now. I think he figures he doesn't quite have the pace for Braden Eves, but there's a potential to fight his way back into that second spot. So he's just sitting right there off the rear wing.
And great racecraft. Just sits slowly, works his way inside, outside, just letting Darren Keene know that he's there. And I think if he gets that good run out of turn number 14, we'll have an opportunity to pass for second. That should be a good battle in the next couple of laps or so.
Going to watch the lap times as well between Jack Crawford in 4th in the 52 and Alex Barron in the number 14 and 5th. What we're seeing now is I think that gap's just going to keep building. Barron doesn't have the speed at this point here, a 126.9. Crawford a 125.7, a full second quicker. So it looks to me like the front four are going to stretch away.
Yeah, and Alex Barron lost all that time when he, Shields, and Dickerson were battling. So whatever potential he had to gain some ground lost there. And again, we see Hunter McElroy. He'll look to the outside, now look to the inside. Darren Keene blocking, taking that inside line. No potential for a pass, but indeed there is.
He goes deep to the inside, but you know that's going to be an over-under. He went too deep into the corner, able to keep. Oh, actually, he may have got that spot.
Did.
He actually made it stick. Wow. He got so deep, that car was great. We got a wreck. Wreck in turn 1. Drivers further back, involved in an incident in turn number 1. Driver into the wall on the outside of that corner. Will definitely go full course yellow for that. So that's going to slow things down again as we have one driver off. That's the number 40 at Jack Miller. Miller was racing his way back up, and he was in the 14th position, but contact into the braking zone has sent Jack Miller into the wall. I don't think it was hard contact, but I think we'll see the full course yellow here pretty soon as he's just on the outside of the racetrack coming into the braking zone. They have not yet thrown it here at start-finish. Maybe potentially waiting to see if he'll be able to refire and pull that car off the racetrack.
In the meantime, an amazing pass by Hunter McElroy down into turn number 1 as we have a full course caution for the second time in this second race for the USF 2000 series here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the reason, Jack Miller again. Jack William Miller with his second spin, the first time in turn number 7, that time in turn number 1. And hopefully we'll get an opportunity to see that replay. But, Rob, you picked it up after that battle with Hunter McElroy and Darren Keene down into turn number 1. But, boy, McElroy, that was a fantastic pass.
From the view that we saw, I would have said there was no way he was going to be able to complete that pass because the car started to twitching as he got on deep under the brakes. There's a replay of the incident there. Jack William Miller, I believe, potential contact with Colin Kaminsky. Here's another shot. Is this another shot at it here? No, this is the yellow. This is live. So, again, an issue there. All right, let's have another look at this thing here to see exactly what happened to Jack Miller in that number 40 machine.
The way it looked, he may have had some help. It just looked like a funny way for that car to turn. Here he is on the inside of the outside, actually, of that. Yeah, there was contact there.
I think Jack overcooked it coming into the braking zone. Whoever the driver in front of him was, he ran into the back of that driver. I think it was Colin Kaminsky. So Jack just getting too deep into turn number 1, trying to roll some speed into there and
trying to salvage the spin from earlier, and really knows he has a good car and just got a little too aggressive there in turn number 1. And that's a situation when you're so close in turn number 1, racing in a position that you haven't been in all day. Someone brakes a little bit differently than a driver you've been used to driving with, and they brake a little bit earlier than you're used to braking, and that's what happens.
Indeed, because as we said, he was running up there in the top 10 when he had that first spin over in turn number 7. So just hoping that these drivers would be braking a little deeper than they were. And again, just light contact into the wall. Wasn't a heavy hit at all. Kind of just got into the back of him, went into a little spin and tapped the wall on the outside of 1. Crew going to work, getting that car up on the flatbed, and we'll go back to work. Braden Eves, your leader. Hunter McElroy running in second. Darren Keene in third, Jack Crawford fourth, Dakota Dickerson now fifth. He was able to get by Alex Barron right before the incident, so Dickerson in fifth spot, Barron in sixth, Cameron Shields now seventh, Eduardo Barrichello eighth, Christian Rasmussen ninth, and Anthony Famularo rounding out the top 10.
So prognosticate for me, if you will. You said Hunter McElroy doesn't have the pace to catch Braden Eves, but now throw everything out the window. Hunter McElroy is now right behind the rear wing of Braden Eves on the restart.
I have no doubt he's going to try a move. There's no doubt. Hunter's one of those drivers who is aggressive, and this is his opportunity here. Where are we on time? Still 20 minutes remaining. We only have 9 laps to go. He'll make a move here, I think. Now, again, we saw a great restart already for Braden Eves. He's not a slouch on the restarts at all. He was able to hold off his teammate Darren Keene, but I think having got by Keene, Hunter McElroy in his mind right now says, this is my opportunity to get my win. And he has to do this right now. As they stand on the racetrack, he's 30 points behind Braden Eves, as Eves has won the first 3 races. So a win here would most definitely get him back in the championship battle.
So let's look further back in the field. The 5th place driver, Dakota Dickerson, who has made his way up through the field, got around Shields, got around Barron. Now Dakota Dickerson with a great opportunity to make his way potentially to the podium as he'll restart in that 5th position. Well, we will go back to the green flag racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this time by as the field makes their way through turns number 3 and 4 now. Looking forward to our second, or should say third restart after the start of the race, our second caution working here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and an unfortunate incident again for Jack Miller. Rob, as you said, a very great young talent. We heard from Adam Vinatieri, Miller Vinatieri Motorsport, and the two sons had raced together, Jack Miller's son and Adam Vinatieri's son, and Adam said his son maybe didn't like the speed as much as Jack's son enjoyed it, but in any case, great to have Adam Vinatieri here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and part of racing traditions here in the USF 2000 Series as Jack Miller finds himself out of this race, but certainly has some potential. He's been very impressive thus far.
That's what I was going to say. What a great weekend it's been for him. They've shown speed. That whole team has shown speed. Eduardo Barrichello still in the 8th spot, a team brand new here to USF 2000. They come in with a blank sheet of paper in terms of setup, and they've done a great job to be able to get themselves up, challenging for positions inside the top 10. Field now set, though, folks. We're getting ready to go. It'll be a single-file restart. Braden Eves will bring them around, and we are expecting a battle coming down into turn number 1 as Hunter McElroy in the 22 will look to make that move to try to get a hold of the lead here. It's been all Braden Eves in 2019.
I'm just watching Hunter McElroy. He is all over the rear wing of Braden Eves, so we'll see if Braden gives him a little checkup here as we get set to go green. The field now working through turn number 14 as they swing around that long, sweeping final turn before they go back to the front straightaway. We're green here at Indianapolis in a battle for second.
What a great start for Braden Eves. He's able to pull away, and Darren Keene going to work. He'll go to the inside. Keene to the inside of Hunter McElroy coming down into turn number 1, and he gets the job done, but can McElroy run the outside? They'll go 2 by 2 through turns 1, turn number 2. They'll work their way over to 3 now. Braden Eves with a strong start. He's able to go to P1 still. A great restart again for Braden Eves, and Hunter McElroy not in position to move. And in fact, Keene able to get by. He retakes the 2nd spot and look for Jack Crawford to try to challenge here down into turn number 7. Crawford P4 trying to get onto the podium. Another move by Alex Barron. He's able to get by Dakota Dickerson, so Barron goes back to P5. Dickerson into 6th. Great run here for Dickerson, starting 14th, now up into the 6th spot. But he did just lose 1 position. Everybody in the train, Michael, through the 7, 8, 9 combination.
I would have called that completely different. I thought Hunter McElroy would have something for Braden Eves, and it was the exact opposite. Darren Keene able to get back around that 2nd position and take it over as the field makes their way through turn number 12. It's Braden Eves, the number 2 of Darren Keene, Hunter McElroy. Jack Crawford runs in that 4th position, and Alex Barron running 5th. The field makes their way through turn number 14. We're completing lap number 14, working lap 15 this time by.
Pretty good battle there between Anthony Famularo. Actually, Eduardo Barrichello now trying to go to work on Cameron Shields. Shields has gotten down to 8th spot. Christian Rasmussen was able to get by Shields. Cameron trying to stop the bleeding here right now, as indeed it looks to me like Barrichello gets by. Suleiman potentially almost into the back of Shields in turn number 1. Yeah, contact. Drivers together. That might be Cameron Shields in the 73. We're going to watch. There's an incident. Shields able to continue, or whoever it is able to continue. Indeed, yeah, Cameron Shields, yeah, he got looped around by the number 12 of Manuel Suleiman. They went into turn number 1, and Suleiman got into the back of Cameron Shields, spinning him around. Not sure how much damage there is to the car of Shields, but as they came into the corner, Christian Rasmussen was in the 7th spot. Here's the battle into the corner. You can see them side by side into 1. And that, again, is just Suleiman getting into the back of Cameron Shields. That didn't need to happen at all. Suleiman coming through that corner, climbed up over top of the curbing, I think, Michael. And once you do that, the car kind of got upset, and he just drove straight into the back.
Full course caution.
Shields.
Yes, indeed. Full course caution. Our third of this race, number 2. Well, we were hoping to keep it clean, Rob, but the racing, we do these restarts, we get a little bit tighter, and people trying to make moves in the latter portion of this race. And as you said, that was an avoidable incident.
Well, in that lap, Shields had got passed by Christian Rasmussen. Yep. Eduardo Barrichello had just got by. Suleiman was seeing that happen. I think Suleiman thought he might get a chance to do it. He just dove to the inside and, again, got up over top of the curbing, and it just sent the car flying. Don't see any damage on the 73 of Shields as he came back by, so he's going to have about 4 laps potentially to get rolling again. They're going to have to put the car of Suleiman, though, on the wrecker. Not surprised he probably damaged the left front, or the left front potentially getting in the back of Cameron Shields.
Not a lot of control when you get up on that curbing and set those cars adrift. It will cause chaos, and it certainly did in this instance. Contact between Suleiman and the 71 machine.
How many times is Braden Eves going to be able to hold off the Lions here on a restart? Last time able to get a good jump and hold back Hunter McElroy, who indeed then got passed by Darren Keene. Keene able to capitalize on it. Now Darren will be looking to try to see if he can't get by his teammate coming down into turn number 1.
Well, 4 laps remaining. We'll complete that this time by 17. We'll have 3 when we come by. Braden Eves, Darren Keene. That's how we started the race. That's how we stand right now, first and second. Hunter McElroy running in the 3rd position. Jack Crawford 4th. Alex Barron with a nice move on that last restart 5th. Dickerson, Rasmussen, Barrichello, Famularo, and Kaminsky round out your top 10.
This is going to be exciting, folks, as we see what happens here. Again, trying to get that car of Suleiman off the racetrack so we can go back to green flag racing. But these 2 Cape Motorsports drivers, Eves and Keene, 1-2. And as Michael said, just as they started, Hunter McElroy started 3rd, runs 3rd. When we go back to green, though, this will be incredibly interesting to see whether or not Braden Eves can again knock down a fantastic restart. Was able to do that and hold off McElroy, as we said. But
pace car stays out.
Yeah, 1 more lap. This is going to be a 2-lap dice, I think, at the end, isn't it?
Yep. I think interesting is an understatement for the restart here as we get set to complete race number 2. Braden Eves has been in command at the point this entire morning in the 2nd race of the weekend for this first rung of the Road to Indy program, the USF 2000 Championship. Cooper Tires, of course, sponsors of this.
Michael, I'll tell you, Braden Eves has won the first 3 races. If he's able to knock down another win here, what a commanding lead he will take into the oval event at Lucas Oil Raceway, the Carb Night Classic. Man, if you can get 4 wins out of the box, you just have such of an advantage going into the midseason.
We talked about Kyle Kirkwood and what Kyle was able to accomplish last year. Are we seeing a potential repeat of that this year?
The thing that we talked about this yesterday, Greg Rakestraw and I did, the fact that even though Kyle Kirkwood set a record on wins in 13 wins, he only qualified on the pole 5 times. He wasn't that dominant. He was just the driver who didn't make a lot of mistakes. When the opportunity came, he won races. So right now, Braden Eves has kind of been a little different. He's qualified on the pole. He's got the job done. He's won races from the front. This is a more dominant start. Will it continue? I don't know. There's a lot of great drivers. You know Hunter McElroy is going to get a win sooner or later. You know Darren Keene is going to stand on top of the box before the season's done. So it could be today. Darren Keene ready to line up to see if he can't take advantage of this restart. Again, a very long run when they get the green to come down into turn number 1. If Keene is on the throttle and can get underneath that wing, we may find ourselves with a battle heading into the opening corner here. But just a couple of laps remaining. When we go back to green, it'll be 2 to go here in USF 2000.
We certainly aren't limited potentially. I guess I say that maybe early by the time. I think we'll be able to complete this thing without going into a timed race. Braden Eves, Darren Keene, Hunter McElray, Jack Crawford, and Alex Barron. They are your top 5. May keep an eye on Alex Barron, too, here on the restart. He has had several good restarts.
I was going to say the same thing about Jack Crawford. His debut here in USF 2000, he wants a podium. And Crawford, driver to Houston, Texas. Look for him to try to make a move on McElray as well. Pace car will duck on off as the field now into the hands of Braden Eves. He's been masterful thus far in the restarts we've had here. A couple of full course yellows have challenged him to hold on to that lead, but right now still on the point. He'll come through 13 to 14, Michael. Away we go.
Watching Hunter McElray. He is all over the rear wing of Darren Keene. Did that last time and lost a spot. We'll see if he is able to pounce as the field works their way out of turn number 14. We go back to green flag racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Another great start here for the number 8 machine, but here we go. Keene's going to spool things back up. Keene gets the toe coming down to turn number 1. Keene's going to go to the outside. Eves to the inside. Keene trying to roll the outside. Doesn't quite do it. He holds the spot, though. McElray still in 3rd. It's still Crawford 4th and Barron 5th. No change in the front-running 5 drivers on this restart. But again, Keene got side by side with Eves all the way up into turn number 1, but just couldn't make the move into that corner.
I watched Alex Barron. He swung wide as well. I thought he was potentially going to make a move, but was unable to get around Jack Crawford. Jack had a nice restart as well.
There's a move to the inside. Dakota Dickerson going to the blocking line to the left side of Holman Boulevard, trying to hold off Christian Rasmussen in the number 6 machine. They'll work their way through 7, 8, and 9. Eves still the leader. Keene 2nd. Hunter McElray in 3rd. Great battle further back, though. That's Barron battling it out, I believe. Is that Barrichello making a move potentially up there?
I thought maybe Dickerson got around Barron.
I think that's Barrichello up into 5th spot from 8th. The red number 41 machine. We'll look at and get a visual when they come back around
Indeed
here.
It is.
Indeed, yeah.
Wow.
So what a great opening lap here for Eduardo Barrichello in the Miller Vinatieri Motorsports number 41. He has gotten to P5, getting ahead of both of the Legacy Autosport cars.
Made up 3 positions on that restart. A great restart for Barrichello. And Hunter McElray on the charge again. 2 car lengths behind Darren Keene, starting to look to the inside. Now the outside, back to the inside to turn number 1.
Colin Kaminsky in the number 23 machine trying to find a way by Anthony Famularo. And here's that battle again into turn number 1. Final circuit, I believe, here now. We've got 2 to go. 2 still to go. We'll see the white flag next time by. One driver taking the cutoff further back. I think that was potentially Matt Round Garrido in the number 5, overcooking it into turn number 1. But this battle, I think, for second is the one we're going to watch right now. Darren Keene doesn't have anything for Braden Eves, at least here on the penultimate lap. But Hunter McElray in that machine pushing hard. Dickerson still in the middle of that battle with Kristen Rasmussen. That's for the 7th spot as they work their way down Holman Boulevard. But look at Braden Eves doing it again. Pulling away. Another solid restart, pulling away as your leader.
Not only in the start, then 3 restarts after that with the cautions. It's been a very impressive afternoon for Braden Eves as he now has about a 10-car length advantage over Darren Keene. The battle will be for second. Hunter McElray is in 3rd, wants to get it from Darren Keene as we get set to see the white flag this time by.
Eves, Keene, McElray, Crawford, and Barrichello top 5. Barron runs 6th, Dickerson 7th, Rasmussen 8th, Famularo 9th, and Kaminsky in 10th. Cameron Shields back up to 15th after that incident. White flag flying here at start-finish. Pretty wide open in terms of the gap between everybody in the top 5 now. Cameron Shields, I'm not seeing him come back around in the number 73, so that could be it for Shields. Not sure what happened to Cameron. At least he didn't pick up unless he's already into pit lane. We didn't see him come down pit lane. Indeed, though, Eves on the final circuit. A 0.7 of a second lead to begin this last lap here for USF 2000. He is looking to go 4 straight wins to start the 2019 season. And Cape Motorsports runs 1st and 2nd. Eves and Keene. Here comes the 73. Front wing damage for Cameron Shields. Tough one for Cameron. All happened there on the lap that brought out the yellow, that incident with Manuel Suleiman. But final circuit here for Braden Eves in the number 8 machine to win his 4th straight event of 2019. His teammate Darren Keene still with enough of a gap on Hunter McElroy that he is going to be able to hold on for second. Final couple of corners here. The USF 2000 drivers navigating them well. Capping things off before we go Indy Pro 2000 racing. And coming through the final circuits, what a run here today. He worked his way through a couple of restarts, but back-to-back jacks here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Braden Eves, the winner by a half a second over Darren Keene. Hunter McElroy on the podium once again in third. Jack Crawford comes home fourth. What a run, Michael, for Eduardo Barrichello. Barrichello started 10th, was 8th at the start of that restart, and was able to go to 5th. What a great run for him.
And impressive and for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports to have that finish and to see how good Jack William Miller was as well for this young team. Very, very promising for 2019.
Yeah, they'll take this as a major positive for sure. Legacy Autosport improving impressively from Friday's action. Alex Barron ends up in 6th. Dakota Dickerson able to hold off a charging Christian Rasmussen in 7th. Anthony Famularo in the 9th spot, and Colin Kaminsky moving up late in the race to get 10th. Bruno Tomaselli in 11th. Reese Gold in 12th. Yuvan Sundaramurthy in 13th spot. Nolan Siegel 14th. Christian Bogle, the final driver to complete the 20 laps in the 15th spot. Issues, as we said, for Cameron Shields, Matt Round-Garrido, Manuel Suleiman, Jack Miller, Manuel Cabrera, and Zach Holden not able to get a lap in.